One of the cool features is that this is a motorized blind because it's really high. This is a cool feature. Coming down.
Twenty minutes later.
Kind of cool. Hey everyone, my name is Charles Lee. I'm one of the coaches here at Rockstar. Today we have a very special project. It is the first tiny home ever in Kitchener. It was featured in CBC News, and I've been following the builder since it was getting built. He turned a single family home into a duplex, and then he added a detached ADU at the back. It is a really special one. Make sure you stick in until the end. We're gonna go through the numbers and the whole story. The particular investor that we're working with here, they're a retired couple. They have been a long-term investor of us here at Rockstar. Their daughter is also a Rockstar member. So they reached out to us. They wanted to find something a little bit more turnkey this time because the last project they have worked on, they have actually done the renovation themselves, where they have turned a single family home into a legal duplex. This time, they wanted to make it a little bit more hands-free and find a turnkey project. And this is a little bit of special one because it's a share equity with the daughter. Also, the parents are using their full retirement fund. So this project cannot go wrong. We had to find the right one. Originally, we were looking at University of Guelph, but because of the 4-bedroom limit, it was really difficult to make the numbers work. For this project, it meant a lot to me because I knew the builder since he has purchased the home as a single family home. I've gone through the entire process of him demolition, adding the second unit in the basement, and then excavating entire driveway, adding the detached ADU all the way from foundation to framing. And then I was actually there when he was doing the rough-in educational tour. We saw everything behind what's behind the walls. So that gave me a lot of confidence to bring our investor here and ultimately purchasing the property because I knew this was not like a flip. It was a builder who took pride in what he wanted to showcase. Okay, now we're gonna go tour through the main unit, and then we're gonna go to the garden suite, and we'll just show you the lower unit numbers, but we won't be able to tour through because it's already leased. All 3 units have been leased to a young professional, and we were able to find them relatively quickly. I'm sure they're gonna have great time in the backyard having barbecues. It's really, really critical to think about the tenant profiles that you're putting into each of your units because ultimately, if they get along, if they're happy, they're gonna stay and your property is gonna be taken care of. So let's go. The thing you're gonna notice is there are actually 6 parking spots that are marked and identified for the occupants here. And also, the big thing about having a detached ADU is that you need a 1.1 meter of unobstructed way. This is for emergency access in case fire truck or ambulance needs to get to the back. One thing we have is the rear yard sign. This just means rear yard with the street number. It is an identifier for emergency vehicle to know that we do have a detached unit in the back so that they don't miss it. Since it is 3 legal units, there is 3 legal addresses. We do have 3 mailbox per each of the unit, so they can have their own parcel and delivery. We do also have 3 individual hydro meters, so each of the tenants will be paying for their own hydro, and they've gone underground to the ADU so that it looks much nicer and nothing's hanging on the top. Other small little features that the builder has thought of, which I really appreciate, is electrical plugs for a surveillance camera if you wanted to install one, Also, there's a conduit there if you want to do like an EV charger hookup on the side. Because they were running a short-term rental, they do have an ashtray in front of the door, very convenient, and more electrical plugs. Okay, come on in. Here we have an open concept main floor, 3 bedroom, 1 bath. This used to be a structural wall here, and they've taken it down and actually putting a steel I-beam. I don't know how they got it in, maybe through that window, but it's a very long steel beam, which is very nice. It makes the whole thing open, just like a condominium. Here we have a nice kitchen. I like that they have put the microwave in the bottom because it's not in the way and it makes things a lot clearer. I like the range hood as well. It's very simple and the open shelving makes it like Instagram worthy. All the floors were redone as well. There's no original floors underneath, so these floors do not squeak. These details really appreciate. There's a bedroom here, and the master there. These doors are really nice too because simple things like changing the color of the door, simple things like doing a feature wall, it really makes the unit stand out when you're leasing. Right? The bathroom also has hexagon tiles, double vanity for his and hers. The chrome hardwares really stand out. So he kept the same theme throughout all 3 units. Even in the lower unit, you'll find similar finishing with similar feature wall, similar floor, same trim, same kitchen, right? The lower unit, this is what makes it unique, is the lower unit has also been reconfigured so that they were able to fit in really good 3 bedroom down there. Most of the basement units we see are 2 bedroom, so having the 3rd bedroom, if the tenants work from home, is a really good feature. So we do have separate panels here. All 3 units have their own panels, and you have the switches and the breakers in case you trip a light fixture or something and you overload, you can turn on the breakers without disturbing the other tenants. This is exactly what we aim for when we try to rent out to young professionals. So right now it is legal in Ontario to have 3 units for most of the low density residential lots. That's by right. Kitchener has gone one step above and they have passed a bylaw called Enabling 4, which means you can have up to 4 units in a single lot. This particular property, we have 2 units in the main dwelling and we have 1 unit in the back, right? The opportunity here for investor is to add an additional unit in the back, maybe a side-by-side garden suite, which will provide you 4 streams of incomes, which is great. I really believe this will be the next big thing, the next decade of opportunity here for Ontario investors. Another thing just to point out is you have to watch out for the site layout. Does it have the functionality to adding an additional unit? Does it have the servicing capacity? Like, does a transformer can support 3 or 4 units? You know, does it have the setbacks? Does it have the parking requirements? You can have the beautiful main home in the back, but if the tenants can't park, you're gonna have harder time renting it out. And how high your building is going to be. These are things you should consider when looking at potential opportunities. But yeah, the opportunity is there if you can find the right property. So the first thing when building a detached ADU like this is the site plan. The site plan means where is your hookups gonna be? You're gonna think about your hydro hookup, you're gonna think about your sewer line hookup. Is it gonna go directly to the street or is it gonna go through the main detached unit? Where's the water gonna come from? And is there gonna be a gas, right? So these are things that we have to consider. These to me are vital organs of a house, just like these are like humans, right? The blood needs to go through, house is the same. It needs to breathe, right? It needs to protect itself from water entering because water is the #1 destruction of the home. So things like this would all be planned out at the site plan stage. Okay, now let's go in. Welcome to the Kitchener's first tiny home. So this is a very, very nice unit. It made a very open concept. The entire floor is heated, and then there's a separate control for the living room and the bedroom, and an additional unit for the bathroom. They have tried to maximize the square footage allowable, which would be, at that time, 50% of the main unit. And also, you cannot exceed 25% of the entire lot coverage. The ceiling height is also restricted to 6 meters. So this home was built without any minor variance. It does have its own hydro panel, just like the other units. And mechanically speaking, there is no furnace. So it's entirely run by the heat pump, as well as the in-floor heating to heat and to cool the home. And because it was built very, very airtight, it was required to include a HRV system. So the HRV basically circulates the dead air out of the home and bringing fresh air into the home. That's why it's very, very comfortable here. So now we're entering to the bedroom, and we have private access to the backyard for this unit, which is a great feature. A lot of young couples, they like to do barbecues, or if you have a puppy or a pet, this is great because everything is enclosed and you just feel like you live in your own detached home. Underneath these patio stone is grading system. So the builder really put emphasis on having water diversion, water away from the home, and French drains underneath. He thought about everything. Now we're on top of the attic. This is kind of like an additional space that the builder has thought of. Because of the constraints in the footprint, you couldn't go wider, but we could go up. And this is a really nice space, you know? Makes it a space where you can put a desk, or you can even put a bed for guests. You can even do yoga at that little space. It's a really nice addition. There is electric baseboard heating, so supplementary heating. There is also plugs that you can plug your stuff to, and pot lights and HRV circulating air. So it feels pretty good, and it's kind of like living in a really nice Airbnb. One of the cool features is that this is a motorized blind because it's really high. This is a cool feature. It's coming down. Yeah, kind of cool. Okay, let's do this one. Here's the mechanical room. In here we have the classic water heater tank, and also we have a HRV to circulate air. One lessons learned is if you care about like moisture and if you have a little bit more budget, go with an ERV because that'll take care of a lot of the moisture issue as well. It's just a little bit higher end. But for this one, it is the HRV. Speaking of service, one thing that will limit what kind of utility you'll have in your garden suite is if you can get enough hydro into the unit. Some street, they just don't have enough capacity. Some street do, so that's something you probably want to check into. In this one, we were able to get the hydro in, so 100% is run by electric. There is no gas. So let's break down the numbers. This property was purchased for $1.2 million, and at interest rate of 5%, it's going to cash flow over $1,000 per month. So in terms of income, Unit 1 is rented out for $2,500 plus all utilities. Unit 2, which is the basement unit, have also been rented for $2,000 plus all utilities. And this garden suite has also been rented for $2,500 plus all utilities. In total, it will be $7,000 per month, and expenses are $5,828, which includes the mortgage payment, the property tax, and the insurance. So subtracting those two, the delta is over $1,000 in monthly cash flow. If we look at historically in Southern Ontario, the appreciation has been 7% year over year. Assuming a 6% appreciation year over year, by holding onto this property for 5 years, we will have a total profit, and the total profit includes the appreciation, the mortgage paid down by the tenants, as well as the monthly cash flow. So all these three makes up the total profit. In 5 years, holding on to it will be just over $500,000. That equates to about 42% year over year return. That's pretty good if you ask me, and the investor never had to renovate nothing. Okay, so the last final takeaway. Right now in Southern Ontario, there are a lot of single family homes that have proper lots that you can slowly add units to. But however, the market hasn't priced that in, which means as an investor, we can still find good homes in good area that are on good street, just like this one, but they're single family homes. Just because you don't have the money or the capital to do the renovation, to make a cash flow starting year one, doesn't mean you should dismiss that, right? The money to do renovation will come as the property appreciate, and as long as you can hang on to that, the potential to own even one of this, never mind multiple units, just one of this, and you slowly add the second unit, slowly add the third unit, the fourth unit. Who knows where the bylaw is gonna be? Maybe Ontario is gonna allow us to do 6 units. You never know. Toronto is already heading that way. No parking requirements, right? So if we can just think outside the box, we can still find opportunities, good homes in good areas that checks off adding additional units one by one. So one of the breakthrough moments for us getting this project was financing. As we know, very little banks will account for detached ADUs at the beginning, but now they're coming around. We were able to get financing through National Bank and specifically their net worth program. So just because you're an investor and you don't have a lot of income coming in, or maybe you're retired, doesn't mean you can't get financing. So make sure you speak to a professional mortgage broker who's in this field, who understands the latest programs that the banks are using to qualify for these detached ADUs or garden suite. This is huge. All the big fives, they're coming around, and appraisals are coming in at the right price. So when you are locating the right opportunity, make sure you use financing conditions, but also have that power team behind you so you can actually get the appraisal in at the value that you are purchasing. Yeah, that is huge, and it's only getting better and better.
Okay, thanks Charles. That was an awesome project. And until next time, everybody, your life, your terms.